this week we've come to the end of the earth. Well, OK, not exactly, but it feels like it. Spurn Point has got to be one of the country's most beautiful, remote and fragile pieces of land. There are just 8 houses at the very end of Spurn Point, and all are occupied by lifeboat families. What's the attraction to you of being here?
The actual lifestyle, I suppose, of the place. You're together with your family all the time.
How about you, Nikki? What do you think about living here?
We never saw each other at all at Cleethorpes, so being together, and also the life for the kids. They've got the freedom.
In the winter, did you ever think, have we done the right thing?
Oh yeah, the first winter. It's not at all how you expect it. Everybody sees it in the summer. Hardly anybody ever sees it in the winter.
You're stuck in your house all the time. It's always windy, sand blowing everywhere. It's not a very nice place to be in the winter.
Do you ever worry, though, about it being remote? Because you're due to have a baby in, what, 2 weeks' time? And you're a long way from the nearest hospital, aren't you?
Well, a long way by road. Yeah, it's 45 minutes by road, but if I go by helicopter or boat, I can get there faster than people in towns.
So, Noah, how does an Emmerdale heartthrob end up in a retreat?
Well, it was circumstantial. There were a whole load of things that came together at the same point. Property, people, ideas. And they went to forming a sort of second string to my bow, if you like. As an actor, you're, one would assume, somebody who doesn't mind attention, and yet, on the other hand, you're turning your back on all of that in being here. Acting, for me, is a passion of mine that I can't lose, in a way. But this side of it, to me, is actually giving back something that's genuine and developing talents, I think, that are quite unique to me that I'd like to develop. In terms of healing, does the garden play a role? A lot of the herbs that we get in come from a herbalist in London, but a few do. We've had white-flowered dead nettle been growing here, and that's been collected and being prepared, and dandelion and very basic things. So, yeah, there is a small amount that the garden contributes to.
This is a simple that we're dealing with. This is a tea which you're using singly, you're adding nothing to it, and this is called calendula.
One of the main inspirations for setting up this place was Neil Morrison. He's an alternative therapist who's worked with herbalism, and I realised that with the combination of this place and my energy and his knowledge, there was a unique combination that could be a great success.
It's one of the herbs' great miracles, you know.
Here we are, Mike.
Right, what's this?
That's calendula tea, which is a tea I drink regularly.
How do you make it before I drink it?
It's marigold petals and water added, and it's left for 10 minutes, and that's the strained elixir.
Doesn't sound too bad.
If you drank that in place of tea, you find brilliant benefits coming from it.
I feel better already.
Time for a drink!
The creature from the black lagoon, down, 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 sits inside her warm-wet room. Down, 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 says, mirror, mirror, tell me truly. Down, 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 is my hair dank and unruly? Down, 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 oh, down, and down, and down I go.
Oh, thanks very much. It's a good job you boys know what you're doing. I wouldn't have liked to have stayed in there for much longer.
Yeah, that was just a routine man overboard exercise that we do quite frequently, but, you know, I wish they were all as straightforward as that.
Humber Lifeboat, Humber Coast Guard.
We're probably lucky in one respect that we're the only full-time crew in the country, so, you know, I've got the same crew every time I go out. We all know more or less what each other's going to do, and we can all sort of muck in and help each other out, and there's always somebody watching your back and you're watching his. I mean, it's a team effort, and that's what it's all about. That's why we're quite successful.
What's the structure over there?
The far one is the Hale sand fort, the near one's the Bull sand fort. It was built during the First World War
for defences against the Germans from 1915 to 1970. It's just a guided walk today just to explain the maritime history of Spurn, any shipping movements, just general interest of the Humber and the surrounding area.
Is it like train spotting that you get a group of people who get very involved in it?
Oh yes, it's like anything, train spotting, bird watching, and people like to compile lists. And you can compile lists of various types of ships, where they've come from, what they're carrying.
So what kind of things are we looking out for today?
We've got quite a bit of fishing boats on the move. We're hoping for a large bulk carrier with iron ore going up to the BSC terminal at Immingham.
And that'll be the highlight of the day?
Hopefully, yes.
Well, that's it. Summer's almost over and our Heartlands journey has come to an end. I've really enjoyed it. Very soon, this place will be left once again to the mercy of the winter waves. And who knows, this time next year, this may be Britain's newest island.
And Mike will be back on dry land next week and in this season.
Well, now back to wetter matters again.
Today, as a national nature reserve, the accolade promotes Spurn Point into the Premier League of wildlife areas. Bought by the Yorkshire Wildlife Trust from the then War Department in 1960, the peninsula is home to a vast range of birds and vegetation. It's already designated as a site of special scientific interest. Now this latest award from English Nature cements its position as a jewel in the crown of wildlife havens.
It has a wealth and abundance of wildlife interest. It's just a spectacular and very special place. And it's right that this status of National Nature Reserve will be there so that the nation recognises it as one of the best places in England.
The recognition of it will enable the Yorkshire Wildlife Trust to continue with its management, to get the funding for a lot of that management, because these designations are in effect forms of defence and protection by announcing to all the world how important they are to wildlife.
However, Spurn could be living on borrowed time. The constantly moving headland is being left in the hands of Mother Nature and will eventually roll over, which makes it one of the most unique places on Earth.